How to set goals so you actually accomplish them. Video 3. Tip 3 in this video is the best, so check it out. Tip 1, make sure it's trackable, obviously. But the point is you need to be able to actually say a year from now with full confidence, I did that. And basically the only way that you're gonna have that feeling for sure is if you track the thing. So for example, if your goal is to spend quality time with my family, that's fine and that's a good goal, but what does that mean? So you can make it trackable by measuring a certain amount of dates that you go on with your wife, or setting times a day where you don't have your phone on you and you're just with your family, or making a point to be at their sporting or arts events. Whatever, but make it trackable. Tip 2 is you need some form of accountability. I see people go wrong here all the time with two extremes. 1, they tell no one about their goals. 2, they tell everyone about their goals. Neither of those are gonna help you. You tell no one and you're relying solely on your own accountability, which is hard. You tell everyone and you feel like you already done something when you haven't. So what you have to do is tell a select few people where they are directly connected with the applicable goal. For example, if your goal is to have a close-knit family and show them you support them, one way you might do this is by going to your nephew's football games. Well, if you tell no one that you intend on doing this, you probably won't. And if you tell everyone, it's gonna come across weird and braggy. So what you do is you tell your nephew, hey, I don't know if I can make it to all of your games, but I definitely wanna come to 1 or 2. So show me your schedule and let's see which ones I can make it to. And you better believe now that you know he's gonna be looking in the stands for you on a particular day, you will be there. You don't want to let him down. We are emotional beings. Use that for your benefit. Tip number 3 is that you want to attach your habits you're trying to form to a longer period of time than just a day or a week. I think one of the biggest reasons why people don't hit their goals is they set them up from the beginning in a way that makes it easy to fail. For example, I'm going to work out 5 times a week. That's cool for the first 2 weeks, but then what about in week 3 when you go on a trip, or you're sick, or you're swamped with work, or whatever excuse that comes up, because it always does, and you miss a day? Did you fail? Well, if you set your goals up that way, and to a lot of people, yes, smarter approach. So the way I would do that is I would say I want to work out 5 times a week. So 5 times the 52 weeks a year is 260 times. You then want to take that annual number and give yourself some grace. Take off like 25%. So instead of 260 workouts that year, let's call it 200. Now, ideally, you're still doing 5 workouts a week, but you're overall more emotionally attached to doing 200 workouts this year. When you attach your goal to a longer horizon, you have time to play catch up or get ahead. If it's do it today or fail, that's why most people fail. If you build in grace from the very beginning, it becomes a lot easier to get back on the horse when you fall off. Tip number 4 is that you still have an overall high ideal, but then you have a really low baseline so that you never have an excuse to miss. For example, if my goal is to study the scriptures every day, I can say that ideally I want to read 20 verses or a chapter, but it's not always realistic to do that. So I understand that that's my ideal, but I also know that my baseline is I read at least 1 verse, because I've never had a day in my life where I didn't have time for that. And what's funny is that I open my phone, I read 1 verse, and 1 verse easily turns to 5 to 10 to 20. It's the same concept we talked about the other day. Sorry this is getting long. Apparently I have a lot to say on this subject. Couple more videos and you'll be ready for the new year. So thanks for being here. God bless. Have a good one. See ya.